Hey there, Coaching You For You family. I am Annette Latique. I am your host here at Coaching You For You. Thanks for joining me this evening. It's your time. And so I want to thank you all for joining me. For those of you who are here for the first time, thank you. Those of you who are returning, I appreciate your time. It means a lot. Thank you. Tonight, my topic is about self care. And for those of you who follow me, and there are many others besides Facebook, I want you to know that self care is one of my biggest topics. It's one of the things that I love most. It really is. And it's important to our well being and our, physical, mental, and emotional health. It's very important. So, the idea of self-care is not, many people think it's selfish. It's not selfish, it's sanity. It really is. It's sanity. And it speaks to your desire to take care of yourself, to provide for yourself. And so, I want you to know tonight that your self-esteem and your self-confidence is connected to your self-care. Remember that. Your self esteem refers to whether you appreciate and value yourself. And your self confidence is how much you believe in yourself. And when you take care of yourself, you speak to that. So, good evening. Self care. I want to tell you a little story before I get started. I read it somewhere, I don't remember where. I've forgotten most of uh, half of what I've learned. I really have, but I read this somewhere and it spoke to, people in the village needing rain. The crops were dying. And they all prayed for rain and agreed to gather, in the center of the crops to pray, to trust and to believe. And only one person showed up with an umbrella. One person, and it was a little boy. And that's because he believed that their prayers would make a difference. And I want you to know that yours will too. Your self esteem deals with a lot of things. It deals with what you do, how you do it, when you do it, and what you think. And so self care is about three types of self care. That's what I want to talk about tonight. Three types of self care. And one of them is your physical self care. I don't have to tell you guys what's going on. You already know. I'm Annette Latique. I'm your host here, Coaching You For You, and I suffer from allergies. But self care, your physical self care involves releasing physical stress. And however that works for you is what works because self care is job one. However it works, it works. Your physical self care is about relieving stress and tension from your body. You can exercise, you can stretch, you can do yoga. I like yoga because I have a back injury and yoga helps me be aware of the injury, to stretch and to do well in stretching. And self care is important and it's so important for your health because it means that you're simply being mindful of your health and what's going on with your health and your own needs. And so you're better able to support the people you care about. See that? Yeah. Self care prepares us to care for those we care about. But our self care has to be job one, it has to be the priority for us. And so when you take care of yourself and you're not stressed, you are better able to meet the needs of other people that you love. So self care comes in various forms and it begins with the physical, relieving the stress. That's so important. Relieve the stress and the tension. And the three benefits of self care is that you can improve your physical health, you can reduce stress and anxiety, you can boost your self esteem. Yeah, that's right. You can boost your self esteem. You can protect your mental health. And it leads to better relationships. I knew you guys would like that because relationships are important to us, all of them. And so, in self care, in the physical, taking care of yourself is about what it does, for you physically. And that's important. So, remember, mind your physical self care. And then there's the mental self care, excuse me, where we take care of ourselves when the need presents itself in therapy, in mentoring, in peer to peer relationships and family. That's our mental self care. Taking care of it is important. And so, if we want to be prepared for other people, places, and things, we have to prepare ourselves first. We come first. And it's not selfish, it's sanity. And then there's the reflective self care. That involves your religious practices, whatever they are. Hey, what doesn't apply, let it fly. I choose God. Whoever you choose is all right with me. I choose God. And so our religious practices are meditation and mindfulness and gratitude exercises. People sometimes don't realize how important gratitude is and how much it means to your self care. I promise you, if you practice gratitude and you have an attitude of gratitude, a lot of things will change around you because they've changed within you. And everything begins within you. And so our types of self care are physical, mental, and reflective. Practice what you will, but make sure that everything, everything that you do begins and ends with your self care. It's not selfish. People will tell you, oh no, your kids have to come first. Mm-mm. If your kids come first and you're stressed out and tension and stress, you will not be able to provide for them adequately, no matter what you think. We are sometimes, super people, but that's the best super people take care of themselves. They do. Our mental health is very important. When you need help, get it. I think I've shared before that, and a friend that I love dearly, Sharon, such a diva, Harris, talked about it today in one of her posts, and it was that you have to, take care of yourself. You have to know that grief will show up and show out whenever it wants to and without warning. And for those of us who have lost folks we love, we know whether it's a bad relationship, we grieve. If we love the people, we grieve. And that's another thing in self care. Recognizing your limitations, recognizing your space, recognizing what works for you. When you love somebody, that love doesn't leave. You might stop liking them, you might have to move away from them, but when you really love somebody, you'll always love them. You might not want to share time with them anymore. And that's about self care. Because no matter who, what, where, when, or why, you have to take care of yourself. You have to provide for yourself. You have to know that the best part of yourself is you loving you. And so remember that there are benefits to self-care. It's not just a trend. It's not just something we talk about. And speaking of which, we have to hydrate. Hydrating is one of the best things we can do for our body. That's self-care. Because when we're hydrated, and most times we don't know it, we're tired, we're sluggish, we don't feel so great, and we can't figure it out. We always think we have a bug, when in fact, we're simply lacking water. I found that out. Yep. So hydrating is important. Self care includes minding your business, the business that pays you. Yeah, minding your business will pay you more all the time. It pays better. Moisturizing your face, hands, and feet. drink water, and eat fruit. That's self-care. And you hear that a lot, and you hear people laugh about it, joke about it, and talk about it, but self-care can make the difference in everything you do. It can make the difference in how you deal with people you come in contact with. Because when you're taking care of you, especially your physical, mental, and emotional health, your mental is emotional, and your reflective self care, you can deal with things that some folks will never understand how you do it when you're taking care of yourself. And so, taking care of yourself matters. Being okay with yourself is a part of self care. Don't be afraid to wear your natural. That's right. Don't be afraid to wear your natural self. Don't be afraid to go out without a face on. I don't wear a face. I wear a little lipstick and a little mascara. I don't wear a face. And so, and to each his reach. For those of you who do, whatever doesn't apply, let it fly. But don't be afraid to be your natural self. That's part of self care. That's a huge part of self care. Be yourself. Take care of yourself. Love yourself so that you can better love others. And one of the things I shared about today is about self confidence and self esteem because it's so attached to self care. And part of that means, we talked a couple of weeks ago about the dating pool, and we asked the question whether it was polluted. I've gotten a ton of responses on that, and I promise you we're going to get to it. We are going to get to it. It's going to take a minute, but we're going to get to it because I want to be sure we have the right panel for that discussion. It's not a badgering discussion, it's just a discussion about the dating pool. It's not even offering dating advice. The only thing I would tell you from my own experience, and that's typically what I speak from, don't get into relationships because you're lonely. Love when you're ready, not when you're lonely. A lot of people miss that, and that's why the dating pool is sometimes polluted because we jump into love and relationships when we're lonely and we're not prepared for them. And we're not prepared for the people we deal with because we haven't practiced self care. We haven't taken time to take care of ourselves. Listen, being single is not a disease. Nobody's ever died from it. Practice self care and take care of yourself first. Stop letting folks, encourage you to dummy down to be in relationships. You don't have to do that. If you are independent, keep your independence. That's part of self care, recognizing and knowing who you are. If you're a strong man or woman, keep that. Keep it. Because all of who you are is what you should bring to the table. And so often, people bring their representatives first. And that's why so many relationships fail because we're not practicing self care. We're not unpacking before we get to those relationships. And we put others and their well being before ourselves. And that's dangerous. That's very, very dangerous. And so tonight, I want to thank you for joining me. I want to remind you that your mental health is important. I want to remind you that your physical health is important. For the men out there, hey, listen, prostate exams, that's part of self care. Make sure you get it. For the women, breast cancer awareness and mammograms are part of self care. Make sure you get them. Self care covers a wide range of things. It doesn't just stop at massages and manis and pedis. That's all good. You should do that. But self care involves your physical well being, your mental well being, and your mindfulness, which is reflective. And so, go get your self care. Don't be afraid to take care of yourself. And don't be afraid to let people know that before you can love them, you have to love yourself. And that involves self care. So don't get lost. Don't mix the message. A lot of people send the wrong message in. If you want to be, with a woman, you can't be too independent. If you want to be with a man, you can't be too independent. They won't want you. Yeah, they will. What they don't want is disrespect. And a lot of people practice that on both sides of the fence. Get rid of the disrespect. Find somebody who appreciates the fact that you practice self care. Find somebody or let somebody find you, however it works for you. But make sure that wherever you engage, whether it's at the office, whether it's with your family, whether it's with your friends or your lover, practice self care first. Take care of you first. Don't dummy down. Dumbing down to make a relationship happen is deceptive. That's the representative showing up first. Yeah, a lot of y'all gonna miss that, but you'll get it on the way home. When you dumb down to be in a relationship and you pretend to be something that you're not, you have presented your representative and ignored your obligation to take care of yourself first. Hey, my name is Annette Latique. Thanks for joining me. I want to shout out small businesses everywhere, especially the Ingram Kingdom Mobile Kitchen, Derek and Jasna. They will chef for you personally. Look them up. I want to shout out Elisa's Catering, another great chef. Sakina Iman at the Seafood Bar and Grill. The ABC Dad Lights, Adrian, Cindy, and Beverly and their dad. Phenomenal catering. Hey, there's good food everywhere. And you need to go get it. You need to check them out. You need to give people a chance to feed you, especially when they practice, good kitchen hygiene and, safe serve or serve safe and, you know, um, fresh foods. That's part of self care. How you eat is part of self care. So go meet some of those people and tell them that I sent you. Enjoy the food, enjoy the health and wealth of self care because it matters. Yeah, it matters. Take care of yourself. And remember, being single is not a disease. Nobody's ever died from it. Practice self care first. Stop jumping into those polluted waters. Oh, and yeah, stop polluting them because you haven't unpacked and you're taking garbage in there with you. Have a good evening. Remember, self care matters. I want to shout the people out who are doing the very best they can to take care of themselves so that they can provide for their families. Good luck with that. Keep going. Just keep going. Don't quit. Sharon, such a diva Harris, don't quit. Keep seeking the light because that's where it's at. In darkness, find the light. And all of us have dark moments. And this is part of self care too. If you want to boost your self esteem and your self confidence so that when those dark moments come, you can handle them, remember this: you must first believe in yourself and you must first like yourself. Go get it. Practice self care. I promise you. Those you come in contact will appreciate you and it. Have a good evening. I'm Annette Latique here coaching you for you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Good night.